Happy December 30th and welcome to MicroStrategy Today. Today's video is going to be awesome. We're talking about Michael Saylor hinting at another Bitcoin purchase. We're going to be talking about the MicroStrategy flywheel in a little more depth and just how powerful it is. Over 76,000 people vote on a Michael Saylor tweet about what they think Bitcoin's returns are going to be in the upcoming years. A peek at the 4-year cycle and what that can mean for Bitcoin in 2025. I have 3 amazing videos that you are not going to want to miss. One by Max Keiser, one by Larry Fink, and of course, one by Mr. Michael Saylor himself. So MicroStrategy Today, this is the only daily show that is bringing you MicroStrategy's insights and Michael Saylor's genius 7 days a week, my friends. Hit pause, comment below where you're coming from. We're compiling this awesome list of where MicroStrategy investors are around the world, and it's incredible to see. So even if you've already commented where you're from in past videos, do it on each video because we are going to be doing a video by video analysis. Super important and critical stuff. And guess what, my friends? This video is my opinion only. This is not financial advice. And let's dive on in. First article that I want to talk about today is MicroStrategy's co-founder, Michael Saylor, hints at another Bitcoin buy with this cryptic tweet. And the cryptic tweets, they're just getting more fun all the time. We'll dive into it in a little bit here with actual images. But for now, we'll just say that he wrote disconcerting blue lines on sailortracker.com. Now, disconcerting, what that means essentially, I did look it up just to confirm, unsettling. So what Michael Saylor is basically saying is he doesn't like seeing that blue line that shows his actual tracker, his actual chart line, because he likes the dots that cover up that line, because that means that he's doing a lot of consecutive buys in a short time frame. So Michael Saylor, once again, I believe this is the 8th straight week. It might be the 7th straight week, but it's either the 7th or 8th straight week that this man has just pressed buy on Bitcoin for you, the shareholder, for me, the shareholder. And my friends, if anything, this man is sticking to his word. He is consistent. MicroStrategy is executing. And again, he'll post something like this later today about exactly how many Bitcoin they bought and what the yield to date is and all that awesome jazz because of their 21-21 plan that he announced back in the Q3 earnings report. And I've mentioned this a couple of times, by the way. If you haven't watched the Q3 earnings report, please do so. You can just search on YouTube for it. Started the 28-minute mark. It is unbelievable. That's where the real light bulb went on. The light bulb went on for me earlier in 2024 with MicroStrategy, but the real light bulb went on for me where I said, okay, I'm going all in. I'm creating a daily show about MicroStrategy because they found themselves. They found themselves as a Bitcoin treasury company. They know what they're doing. Michael Saylor knows what they're doing. Us as investors, we know what we're getting into, and it's such an exciting future, and I just can't wait. Let's move into the next article, which is Michael Saylor sparks new speculation about MicroStrategy Bitcoin plans. And he hinted at a potential new Bitcoin acquisition for the 8th straight week. So it was 8 weeks. I thought so. And then some market observers have suggested that MicroStrategy's aggressive purchase pattern can induce market volatility. Way to be an observer and observe the obvious. I mean, yes, it's going to cause volatility. And guess what? That is a good thing. Volatility is life. Volatility is what Michael Saylor wants. It's what MicroStrategy wants. And believe me, sometimes it doesn't feel that way, but it's what you and I want as shareholders. Meanwhile, buys have contributed to Bitcoin's price rising from 67K. Man, I remember that. That was just last month. It was 67K. I went to bed. It was 67K. And sometimes I wonder, will we ever see something in the 60s again? Maybe, but maybe not for the rest of my life, to an all-time high of over $100,000. And then here's the hint of more Bitcoin ahead, and they quote him one more time: disconcerting blue lines on sailortracker.com. And then they give this nice little chart here from Bitcoin treasuries. Very interesting if you want to kind of go ahead and check this out in more detail. I'll put the link to this article, as all articles and tweets and videos, in the show notes page. I did highlight this part of the article because I really wanted you to, or I really wanted to remind myself to go over it with you. They say, moreover, some have suggested that the purchase pattern was reportedly influenced by its plan for a blackout period in January, during which it will pause Bitcoin acquisitions. However, early indicators indications suggest that Bitcoin buys will not be stopping anytime soon. Instead, MicroStrategy prepares for its next steps, which include increasing its authorized shares of Class A common stock and preferred stock. The proposal seeks to expand Class A stock from 330 million to over 10 billion shares and preferred stock from 5 million to 1 billion. Market observers believe this move will significantly increase its capacity to issue more shares in the future, allowing it to allocate more funds for Bitcoin purchases. And I see the comments online in my videos on Twitter, on different social media platforms. People are like begging for this ATM to potentially pause or stop in the future. But you need to understand, as I have started to really completely understand myself, Michael Saylor is going to savagely and aggressively do everything he can, pull every lever he's able to, ATMs, convertible bonds, other instruments that he's cooking up right now, to acquire as much Bitcoin as he possibly can at what he believes and MicroStrategy believes are absolutely bargain basement levels. And again, basically being around an all-time high may not feel to you and me like a basement level, but in 1 year, in 5 years, in 10 years, I mean, I don't see how it will be anything but, in my opinion. Let's move over to this article that says MicroStrategy likely to purchase more Bitcoin. And again, I'm kind of just showing these articles right here just to show you there's widespread media coverage about these Bitcoin buys now. 8 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, when I was reporting on this, there was 1 or 2 articles every time Michael Saylor did a Bitcoin buy. Now it's being reported by unbelievable amounts of outlets. The retail interest is picking up. The interest just across the board, media, social media, traditional media, fill in the blank, television, cable. It's just picking up. And my friends, it is just getting started. And believe me, Michael Saylor has your best interest at heart as a shareholder. He has my best interest at heart as a shareholder. If you don't really believe that in your bones right now, go and watch my complete history of MicroStrategy. He's been running this company since 1989. It's an hour and 40 minutes long where I give many Michael Saylor clips. And one of the most powerful ones, in my opinion, within that is the fact that Michael Saylor went ahead and gave his 10 Bitcoin principles. And over again, he just committed to the fact and just repeated the fact that Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy's focus is you, the shareholder, is me, the shareholder, is his partner. So he considers us as shareholders. And he is doing everything he can and everything possible and every lever that he pulls and every decision that he makes is for the long-term benefit, not the short-term benefit, the long-term benefit for us, the shareholders, not for the options, not for the shorts, not for the convertible bonds. Like, he's utilizing them to benefit you and me, to increase our Bitcoin yield, to increase our Bitcoin value per share. So unbelievable stuff here. Really, really exciting. I also wanted to move on over into this tweet right here. Michael Saylor says, disconcerting blue lines on sailortracker.com. Of course, we've covered this a couple times already, but I wanted to show you the actual Michael Saylor tweet. And this is what he means. This blue line here, he wants it to be covered up by more green because that means more Bitcoin buys. So very fun stuff. I actually even responded to his tweet here saying, you need to post these earlier so I can include them in MicroStrategy today. Because he posted this like maybe an hour or 2 hours after I sent out yesterday's video, which, by the way, I hope you enjoyed. My most viewed video ever. It's coming in on 15,000 views. So thank you. Just want to take a second to thank you for watching, for commenting, for liking, for potentially subscribing, because you are what's helping make this channel successful and get it out to more people. So thank you for that. I wanted to share this tweet by Michael Saylor, something I teased in the intro about how there's 77,000 votes now. There's only 76,000 votes when I checked this out a couple minutes ago. What's your predicted Bitcoin annual return percentage for the next 21 years? I voted, as you can see by my check mark, at 38%. And most people did, almost 40%. Surprisingly, the second biggest one was 22.1% at 14% annual return percentage for the next 21 years. Okay. Listen, if we get 14% a year for the next 21 years, that's insanely awesome. But of course, 22, 30, and 38 would be better for obvious reasons. What do you think it is, my friends? I also want to go ahead and share this tab. This is the flywheel effect that I was talking about from Chris Millis. I just love his post here. MicroStrategy stands to benefit disproportionately from index inclusion compared to traditional companies due to a reflexive flywheel. Well, this is very important. I'm going to go through this 1 to 7. 1, the more passive flows it attracts from indexes, the higher its share price. Okay, so flows come in from indexes, higher the share price. Number 2, the higher the share price, the more capital it can raise. Yay. The more capital it can raise, the more Bitcoin it can buy. Yay. The more Bitcoin it buys, the more the price of Bitcoin increases. Yay, yay. The more the price of Bitcoin increases, the bigger the market cap. And we're all looking for a bigger market cap, of course. And the bigger the market cap, the bigger its weighting in indexes. And the bigger its weighting in indexes, the more passive flows it attracts. And then guess what? Repeat back to step 1. And this chart here just shows you how this flywheel effect is going to take your investment and my investment, your investment and my investment, and do amazing things with it in the upcoming years. So congratulations. Oh, love that. From Bitcoin Therapist, 2025 is going to be legendary for Bitcoin. You can see what happened in 2013, up 500 plus percent, down 4%. And this is Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, up 40%, and then up 479%. What a year. I unfortunately was not buying Bitcoin back then. 17, up 12%, up 123%, up 80%, up 215%. That was a good year to be alive. 2021, up 100%, down 40%, but then up 25% and up 5%. And then here we go for 2025. We'll be up here. Only time will tell. But if history is any indication, exciting times ahead. This is something I wanted just to share with you because I think it's great when AI gets involved. The most bullish thing I've seen all day. How much Bitcoin do you need to retire? Keep the answer under 5 words. Grok says 1 Bitcoin should suffice. True story. Radrick shares, MicroStrategy investors complaining of ATM buys are short-sighted. Michael Saylor's foresight through Bitcoin adoption positions him as a visionary akin to Jensen Huang's AI revolution, Elon Musk's space and EV ambitions, and Steve Jobs' tech innovation. His strategy not only secures MicroStrategy's financial future, but also redefines corporate asset management. That's the trade that you are in. I don't even want to actually call it a trade, my friends. That is the investment that you are in. Redefining corporate asset management. I truly believe that you are part of this and I am part of this because we are voting for what Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy are doing. We are voting for MicroStrategy's plan, their vision, their very bold bet here on Bitcoin being the future capital, digital capital of the world. And I'm excited for us. I really am. Let's move on to the last tweets before we get into the videos. The Bitcoin Therapist just clearly says, I love watching Saylor operate in real time. When I buy MicroStrategy, it's like giving my money to a highly sophisticated Bitcoin maxi whose goal is to maximize my profit for the next 100 years, generational wealth for my bloodline. One share of MicroStrategy could be a year's salary in the future. 100% do I agree with this. Absolutely. Now, remember, I promised you 3 great videos coming at you from Larry Fink, Max Keiser, and then one from Michael Saylor himself. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
As you know, I was a skeptic. Yes. I was a proud skeptic. And I studied it, learned about it, and I came away saying, okay, my opinion 5 years ago was wrong. Here's my opinion today. This is what I believe in today. I believe the opportunity today. I believe Bitcoin is legitimate. I'm not trying to say there's not misuses like everything else, but it is a legitimate financial instrument that allows you to have maybe uncorrelated, non-correlated type of returns. I believe it is an instrument that you invest in when you're more frightened, though. Right. It is an instrument when you believe that countries are debasing their currency, debasing their currency by excess deficits, and some countries are. I believe we have countries where you're frightened of your everyday existence, and if you have an opportunity to invest in something that is outside your country's control, then you can have more financial control. And so I'm a major believer that there is a role for Bitcoin in portfolios. I believe you're going to see that as one of the asset classes that we all look at. I look at it as digital gold, as I said before, and I do believe there's a real need for everyone to look at it as one alternative to, I would say, the optimism that I have in the world. If you want to hedge hope, Bitcoin is not an instrument for hope unless you're hopeful you're going to make a lot of money on it. But I look at it as a vehicle in which you're expressing your financial acumen in something that you're more frightened of the world, you're more frightened of your existence. And I believe there's a great industrial use for it. And I think a lot of people are missing that.
So now, back when Bitcoin was worth, a fraction of its current price, here on RT, in fact, I think one of the first to publicly endorse the cryptocurrency, you said it's going to break the $100,000 barrier. We did see that happen. So you are indeed the guru that I presented you as, though, of course, I have to say, financial disclaimer, these are not financial services, at least not professionally. Go out, do your research, speak to your own people. But the prices over the years have also dipped, and it's a bit of a roller coaster for people who are invested in Bitcoin. So just explain, why is it so volatile? And can anything be done, or do you expect it to stabilize in the coming term?
Right. Well, it's made a move from 30 cents a Bitcoin, where we first mentioned it on RT back in 2010. It's, as you point out, it's now over $100,000 per coin. So that's going to naturally be a volatile, bumpy ride from 30 cents to 100,000. Anyone who's held Bitcoin for at least 4 years hasn't lost a penny. So you have to have a outlook of at least 4 years to own your Bitcoin, and there you are mitigating the volatility risk. But with Bitcoin, you're guaranteed an increase in purchasing power over time, whereas with fiat money like the US dollar, for example, you're guaranteed a loss of purchasing power over time, because the supply of fiat money is increasing by 15% on average globally. And in the US, that's approximately the rate at which it's increasing. That means every single year your purchasing power decreases by 15%. With Bitcoin, because it's a finite supply of 21 million Bitcoin, and that's never going to be any more Bitcoin, your purchasing power goes up relative to everything else that's being increased in supply, whether that's fiat money, even gold is increased in supply every single year, housing, obviously, fine art, et cetera. All other stores of value have a problem that as demand goes up, so does supply. Bitcoin is the only asset or commodity in the history of humanity that as demand goes up, supply stays fixed at 21 million, and therefore the only thing in between that is price and price discovery, and that's what we're seeing right now. And the projection of a price of Bitcoin heading into the millions of dollars per Bitcoin is now accepted on Wall Street by the biggest players on Wall Street. Some of the biggest companies in America, like MicroStrategy, have a $13 million per coin Bitcoin projection in the next cycle. So the price is really almost, you could say, mathematically guaranteed to go higher, because the value of fiat money is mathematically guaranteed to go to zero against Bitcoin.
Okay, so when I give you a 150% Bitcoin company and I don't hedge it, and I tell you I'm not going to hedge it, you don't believe me for a while. You're going to rug pull me. You're going to take profits. You're going to, right? It takes a long time for people to trust you, right? But your best chance to get people to trust you is if you're laser-like focused and committed and transparent, and you never break faith with them. They're like, by the way, this is tough love. When Bitcoin trades down 80% and you wanted me to bail out, I didn't. I'm sorry. You know, all those bondholders, they came to me when the bonds were trading 30 cents and 40 cents, and they wanted me to issue equity to buy them back. I said, no, we're keeping our position. They said, well, this is a big opportunity for you. You could buy these bonds back below par. I said, no, this is a big opportunity for you. You're the convertible bond investor. You have to buy bonds with your capital for a living. That's your opportunity. My job is to issue the securities and stay long Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, hold the Bitcoin, manage the structure, don't get liquidated. That's my job. Your job is to buy the equity, or if you don't want to buy the equity, buy the bonds. The short story is the bonds went from 30 to 300.
Right.
Like they were screaming home runs. the most lucrative thing you could have done, the simplest, most brainless thing imaginable was at the bottom of the crypto winter, you could have bought all of these MicroStrategy convertible bonds at 50%, 60% below par. And the joke, of course, is they were guaranteed to pay at par.
Right.
I was like, I would have bought them, guys. If my lawyers would let me buy these, I would have bought them.
Yeah.
They were guaranteed to pay off.
Right.
And yet, the only thing you had to know to make that money was you just had to do the research and figure out that Bitcoin was something real. Once you figured that out, it was very straightforward.
All right, my friends, another episode of MicroStrategy Today has come and gone. If you haven't done so yet, comment below about where you're watching from. I'm compiling a list of investors worldwide. It's going to be a really fun thing to look at. So even if you commented on past videos, make sure to comment on each video where you're coming from because it's video specific. Again, these are all my personal opinions on this video. This is not financial advice. I really hope you have a wonderful day as we head into the new year. We're going to have a great 2025 together, my friends. So have a great, happy new year. And remember, as the great Michael Saylor said, there is no second best.